I'd like to take a moment to go over your research project. That would be project number 2. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over how I graded your paper. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the rubric and each of the points and ideas that I was looking for. So let's go ahead and get started. So just like with your first project, I used a rubric to grade your paper, and I'd like to encourage you to go through and take a look at that after you watch this video. And the other thing that I have attached is I've attached an answer key, so you can go through and read how I would have answered each of the questions. So the first thing I took a look at was whether or not you could describe the study, or what was the study about. And what this study was about was something called the Romeo and Juliet effect. So have you ever heard if your parents or friends tell you someone's bad for you, it's more likely that you'll stay with them? Well, this idea has been called the Romeo and Juliet effect. So next question in the rubric is, what type of research is this? Well, the first thing to consider is this a true research experiment? And the hallmark of a true research experiment is that the researchers manipulate something and then they see if that manipulation made a difference. Well, in this study, there was no manipulation. The researchers didn't put subjects into different groups and then tell one group one thing. So what is the benefit of doing correlational research? Well, there's basically 2 reasons why we could say that people would do correlational research. The first has to do with it is easy to gather a lot of information. It's certainly faster and cheaper to give a survey and gather a whole bunch of data than it is to set up a full. So if you remember, the only way that there's going to be an independent or dependent variable is if it's a true research experiment. And you would know it was an independent variable because that would be what the researchers would be manipulating. Well, in this case, we did not have independent and dependent variables. The researchers just took a look at some variables. And there's actually quite a few variables. So there were several different variables that the researchers investigated. The first had to do with time, and this one was really quite simple. They just wanted to know if there's a correlation between the results of the original study and their results, because we want to see, okay, do these 2 studies match up? The next was parental interference, and this was a key one because this, what they call parental interference. So let's talk a little bit about our subjects. In this study, we did not have experimental and control groups. And the reason, if you think about it, they took people, and pretty much everyone was in the experimental group. And generally speaking, with correlational studies, we don't even differentiate because they're either in the study or not. So the reason that I just spent all that time talking about the subjects is I want you always thinking, is this good research? Anytime you're looking at research, whether it's in the news or on the internet, always thinking about this. So in this study, only 25% of the people completed the study. And as a final thought, I'd like to let you know that there is a third research project in the Dropbox. This is entirely voluntary. You do not need to complete it. It does not count as extra credit, but what I will do, should you choose to do the third project, is I will grade it and then I will take your top 2 grades, and then that will count as your research project grade. Each of these projects is worth 25 points, and then you can earn a maximum of 50. So I will just take the top 2, and then that would be your score out of 50. Make sure that you also take a look at the rubric, because I have you'll see exactly where you earn points and didn't earn points in this project. And I have the answer key attached. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, let me know if you have any questions. Take care.